Welcome y'all to Robin on the Farm. Today I'm making a loaf of sourdough bread in a loaf pan. So if you don't have a Dutch oven, that is no problem. This is a really easy, uncomplicated sourdough recipe. It's great for beginners because you can either use active sourdough starter or unfed, hungry sourdough discard straight out of the fridge if you want. This is a great recipe because you don't have to time your feedings. You don't have to use your sourdough starter when it's at its peak. So that's great for beginners. Also, if you're a beginner and you don't quite want to invest in a Dutch oven, then you can use 2 loaf pans. And what we're going to do is we're going to invert one on top of the other just like this. And now we've made kind of a makeshift Dutch oven. So this is a really cheap, economical way to try sourdough bread without investing in a Dutch oven first. Or if you're like me, I have lots of Dutch ovens. I probably have 7 or 8 of them, but I really like my sourdough bread in this shape because this fits so nicely in the toaster, really easy to slice, and to me there is just nothing better than a slice of sourdough bread toasted up with a little bit of butter and jam on it. Oh, it is so good. So let's just get started on this really easy sourdough bread recipe that's made in a loaf pan. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it step by step. I'm using my scale and I'm going to measure in grams for this recipe, but I'll also leave the printable recipe down in the description and it'll be in cups and spoons too for you. I'm going to get started with my sourdough starter. Now, if you're struggling with your sourdough starter, I have a couple of mine freeze-dried and on my website. I'm using my classic sourdough starter Hester, but I also have some fresh milled and organic starters on my website. Those will work great in this recipe or any sourdough starter that you have. Now, it's important to remember that you can use active sourdough starter in this recipe, or you can use unfed, hungry sourdough discard that's not at its peak. That's what I'm using today. I'm using sourdough discard straight out of the fridge. It's cold and it's gonna work great. I want 85 grams of sourdough discard right into my bowl. Next, we want some water. I'm using room temperature water, not warm, not cold. Unfiltered water is best for sourdough, but to be honest, mine is straight out of the tap and it's gonna work just fine. And you want 250 grams of water. Now I'm going to take my wooden sourdough spurtle and I'm going to mix together my sourdough starter and my water. And this just helps everything to come together a lot nicer than if you just try to mix all of your ingredients in at the end. Now it's time to add some flour. But first I'm going to zero out my scale. That is so easy to forget to do in between ingredients. But I'm going to use 425 grams of flour. You can use all-purpose or bread flour or fresh milled flour. Today I am using bread flour, but I just as often make it with all-purpose or fresh milled. Now that I have 425 grams of flour in my bowl, now I'm going to zero out my scale and it's time to add some salt. Now you can use any kind of salt that you want. This is my Redmond's real salt. This is my salt of choice in my baking. It's an ancient fine sea salt from North America, and some salts are a little bit bitter, but this one's known to have a little bit of a sweet flavor that really enhances the flavor of your foods. So this is just the one that I like, and it's a really pretty pink color if you can see that. For this sourdough bread recipe, we want about 15 grams of salt. Now, if you have some dietary restrictions, you can lessen this amount a little bit, or if you like it with a little bit more, go ahead and add a little bit more salt. Now, this ingredient is totally optional. It's kind of a sourdough hack. If you add a little bit of oil to your sourdough bread, you're going to get a softer texture, both the crust and the crumb. So your sourdough bread will be a little bit easier to eat, to chew, and it'll have a little bit longer shelf life too if you add some oil. So I just added 18 grams of olive oil. You can use any oil that you want. And I usually add about 1 or 2 tablespoons of oil, which is about 15 to 30 grams. And those are all of our ingredients for our sourdough bread. Now that I have all of the ingredients in the bowl, I'm going to take my Danish dough whisk and give it a really good mix. I'm going to use some good old elbow grease. If this is too much for you, you can also just go ahead and put all of these ingredients in a KitchenAid or any kind of stand mixer and let it do the heavy work for you right now. Now just take a minute or two and get it all mixed together. You might feel like it's too dry, but don't worry, it's not. Once you've mixed it together as well as you can, go ahead and ditch your Danish dough whisk or your spoon or whatever you're using and get in there with your hands. You just want to make sure there's no dry patches of flour and that all of the ingredients are really well incorporated together. Now, once you feel like it's all come together into a nice ball of dough, I like to drizzle a little bit more olive oil on top of my dough, and this will just contribute to a better texture, a better, softer sourdough bread. But this is totally optional. Now we're going to cover up our bowl and let our dough sit on the countertop at room temperature for the bulk ferment. Now this bulk ferment is going to take anywhere from 3 to 12 hours, which is quite a stretch. But what you're looking for is for your dough to expand. Not quite double, but definitely expand. The temperature of your home is going to play a huge role, and also how strong your starter is. I'll show you exactly what your dough should look like before you move on to the next step. Okay, it's been about 5 hours, and this is my dough after the bulk ferment. You can see it's expanded, it's puffy, it looks great, and now it's time for the shaping step. Now essentially what we're going to do is a set of stretch and folds. So we're going to grab our dough from one side, lift it and stretch it, and pull it over to the other side of the bowl. And as you do this stretch and fold, you're going to feel your dough totally change. At the very beginning, you're going to feel that it's very stretchy and easy to lift up and pull over, and then it gets very, very tight. You can see how my dough is quickly changed. This gently develops the gluten in our dough without kneading, and it strengthens the dough, gives the bread structure, and allows it to rise and hold its shape. So this is a really important step. Now it's time to let our dough rest for 1 hour. So I'm going to cover up my dough one more time, let it sit on the countertop and rest for an hour. Now after this hour, it's going to be time to already score our dough and bake it. Or you have the option of throwing it into the refrigerator and letting it sit there for up to 3 days before you bake it. I do it both ways, and this is just a great option for letting your sourdough work for you. Bake it whenever it's convenient for you. Now it's time for me to show you how I bake my sourdough bread using loaf pans. I'm going to use this 8.5 by 4.5 size loaf pan, and I'm going to use 2 of them. These are my cast iron loaf pans. I absolutely love my cast iron loaf pans, but you don't have to use cast iron. You can use any loaf pans that you have. I also really like to use these silicone bread slings when I'm making sourdough bread. It just helps to get your sourdough bread out of the loaf pans when it's done, and it also protects the bottom of your bread a little bit. It helps the bottom of your sourdough not get too crunchy while it's baking. Now after my sourdough rested on the counter for an hour, I popped it in the refrigerator for just a couple hours before I was ready to bake it. I do like to bake a cold dough. I think you get a little bit better oven spring when you have a cold dough. And you can bake it straight out of the fridge like I am. Now I'm just shaping mine kind of into a loaf shape, and then I'm just going to plop it right on into my loaf pan, right on top of my silicone bread sling. Now it's time to score our sourdough. This is such an important step because when you score your dough, you're giving it a place to expand, and that release will help it to not burst while it's baking in the oven. You'll get a much prettier loaf of sourdough bread if you score it. You'll want to go down about a 1/2 inch deep into your dough, and you can get real creative and decorative with it, or you can keep it simple like I like to. If you want your score to stand out a little bit more, you can sprinkle your dough with a little bit of rice flour. Now grab your second loaf pan and simply place it on top of the other just like this. Now this is ready to place into the oven. I like to do a cold bake, so my oven is not preheated. So I'm going to go ahead and put this into a cold oven, set it to 425 degrees, and let it bake for 45 minutes with the other loaf pan on top. Now it's been 45 minutes, so I'm taking the other loaf pan off the top, and I'm going to throw this back into the oven, still at 425 degrees, and I'm just going to let it brown up for 10 to 15 minutes. I let my sourdough bread finish baking in the oven without the lid on so that it would brown for about 12 minutes. Now this is why I love the silicone bread slings. You can just easily lift your sourdough bread out of the loaf pan or the Dutch oven without touching it, and it's a lot safer. Look how gorgeous this sourdough bread looks. It's a beautiful color, it's a fantastic shape, and I cannot wait to cut into this bread. Now, if you want to be sure that your sourdough bread is done all the way through, you can use a food thermometer or an instant read thermometer. You want to put this right on into the middle of your bread right after you get it out of the loaf pan, and you want this to register about 205 degrees. With sourdough bread, it's really important to let your bread totally cool before you cut into it. You'll get the best crumb texture, and it won't be gummy inside. So I let my bread totally cool, and then I stuck it in one of my handmade beeswax bread bags. My daughters and I made these together, and they are fantastic and perfect for your sourdough bread. They're great for all baked goods, but especially sourdough and crusty breads. I'm trying to use a little bit less plastic in the kitchen, and this is just a really great, healthy alternative to plastic bags. And we have lots of really cute bags and patterns on our website. So if you're interested in any of these, I will put the link below. But I am ready to go ahead and slice into my sourdough bread. So let's go ahead and slice into it and check it out. I am so excited to cut into this gorgeous loaf of sourdough bread. This loaf has been so easy to make, and it is just beautiful. I'm using my bread bow knife to cut into the sourdough bread. These bow knives are awesome for not squishing your breads. Look at this gorgeous texture of this bread. What a nice fine crumb, but it's also open and airy, exactly like you want your sourdough breads to be. This is going to be great toasted with a little bit of butter and jam. Ooh, it is going to be so good. And this loaf feels nice and soft. It's still crunchy like characteristic sourdough bread is, but the addition of that olive oil really did make it softer. I'm going to take a little bite of this piece. Oh, this is fantastic. Definitely softer and easier to bite into and chew. This is such good sourdough bread. I'm going to leave the printable recipe for this easy beginner sourdough bread made in a loaf pan down in the description and on my website, robinonthefarm.com. You can also find our handmade beeswax bread bags. Thank you so much for being here with me on Robin on the Farm. Be sure to check out my other really easy bread recipes. I will see you next time.
Robin's in the kitchen, dough beneath her hands, wheat from the fields and eggs from her land. Sunlight through the window, a warm golden glow. She's working hard to make that dough. With flour on her apron, loving each knead, ground wheat fresh, sowing her seed. The smell of fresh bread rises in the air. Simple life without a care. In Robin's kitchen, dreams come alive each loaf.